Hey, what's going on everyone? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're keeping healthy. And today we're talking about how to reclaim your mind. Some could say there's a mental warfare going on right now with all the distractions laid upon us. Some could say that it's not. Whatever it is, pretty much a lot of people cannot focus. And not only focus, but they can't really use their mind properly. And so they're kind of out of sync with their mind. Not just kind of distractions wise, but just generally. And when I talk about the mind, where are the fragments of your mind in different parts of the day? What a beautiful sunset. But yeah, are they engaged in things that take you to the destination you want? Or are they simply holding you back like traffic is in a game like this right now? And so the quote of, I guess you could say, the mind is a servant, kind of makes sense because it's a very powerful servant indeed. And wow, we just fell off the map. But the mind pretty much needs to be treated a little bit better rather than just sort of taming the mind. Because I feel like taming the mind, it kind of just ignores the problems that you have and just kind of shuts it aside. That's not what we want. We basically want the root issue tackled, like, primarily. So one of the ways you could do this is by starting small with changing your habits and your sort of patterns of behavior. A lot of people don't seem to realize the true power of actually taking incremental steps with doing stuff, because again, it takes a lot more kind of work and consistency rather than doing it all at once. Being realistic rather than sort of, I guess you could say, jumping in the deep end, swimming for like 5 seconds and then they drown. But it's not the best decision, even though for 5 seconds you swam. We basically just want to kind of start on the shallow end, slowly build our steps up, and then eventually get to the point where we can handle the deep end very comfortably for as long as we want. I guess you could say Rome wasn't built in a day, and the same applies to your mind, or at least bringing it back into focus. Fundamentally though, before I continue, I must say that a lot of the issues, if you are having struggles with focus and things like that, or even just mind sort of power in general, most of this can be solved through just basic principles of eating better, sleeping better, and just physical exercise. Pretty simple stuff that doesn't get a lot of use because it's basic. And if you have all of these in check and it still persists, then proceed. By the way, I feel like I shouldn't have to put this disclaimer because you guys know, but I'm not licensed in any kind of regard like that, so this is just my opinion on things for the whole video, including before. But essentially, you kind of have to set some bait for the mind to kind of come back into full focus. So stuff like rewarding yourself for like doing good enough tasks, or even activities that will kind of every so often teach your mind where, alright, you take good steps, you get a reward. Kind of like training a pet, if you will, rather than, you know, in that kind of spike rush of good feelings from doing mindless activities like binge scrolling YouTube shorts or something like that. Yeah, we are all subject to that somehow. It's crazy. I still don't know why they don't have a block button for that stuff, because it'd be getting too much sometimes, man. I guess you could also say things like mindfulness as well can kind of help with becoming more self-aware. Self-aware of the mind specifically. That's why, like, when you have shower thoughts or your best thoughts when you kind of walk or doing anything that kind of makes you present-based activities, stuff like gardening and stuff like that, cooking, you might get some random thoughts during then. That's when your mind is literally back into full focus and full effect. Basically stuff that just pretty much makes you in the current moment. And then we can even take it a step further, where even little things like notifications from your phone, kind of silencing them, or just general notifications, because I feel like people don't really understand that even if it's the stuff like emails, they can really start a cycle of just disrupting your entire flow and connection with your brain, because it's like an alarm. It kind of just sets you in that kind of alert mode rather than, okay, I'll check it when I'm ready kind of thing. It's underrated. If you have an iPhone, try putting it on D&D whilst you're doing an activity that, I don't know, something like journaling or working on something. You realise that your focus levels might just be that much better. And even like when you do silence it and stuff like that, you're going to be less inclined to sort of start the chain of reactions where you just end up scrolling again. Because it's really easy to kind of just say, oh, okay, I'm checking a notification, and then you end up on a different app just for hours. Sometimes, I guess you could say as well, the mind can be like just something where you kind of need to go back into your human roots in a sense. We just go out into the world, breathe in some fresh air, see people, observe the world outside of your house. Chances are you might even be spending too much time inside, and then your brain gets fried, and that's like a reaction we don't want at all. Even basic activities like exploring, it pretty much makes you tap into the human brain because you're just focused on living. And again, this is what I'm saying about present activities. When you start to do more stuff like that, you start to become more in tune, and your mind kind of comes back. That is literally the secret of flow state, by the way. That's like another little nugget you can just take from the video. Literally being fully present in that one activity. And so you can't let your mind succumb to the world and all of its noise. Sometimes it can get lonely, and sometimes it can get tempting to kind of do the wrong things, or quote unquote whatever the wrong thing is. But in order to have true inner peace and your mind back, you kind of have to be comfortable with being alone. And I know I'm going off on a tangent, but it's kind of related to the present moment, because when you're comfortable being alone, you're comfortable doing things that aren't distracting the mind, that your mind isn't giving fragments of it to any other thing or activity. It's just you and yourself and one activity or thing that you're working on. For example, if you're like, we'll use an example of journaling. If you're doing it with a group of people, you might not be doing it as efficiently because you're focused on like 3 things at once rather than that kind of one thing at a time sort of thing with whatever it is. But yeah, we're going to keep today's one a little bit shorter because just kind of wanted to get straight to the point again. But if you do want to suggest me any other racing games to play, madly. And if you're new here, I appreciate you. Thank you for clicking on this video. And if you are subscribed, thank you for being a subscriber. You guys are the coolest, and I'm glad that I can have some sort of impact in some kind of way. Because at the end of the day, the thing that really like seems to be making a difference and shows that I guess my channel is kind of doing some things that are good, I guess, is the feedback. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So thank you. Honestly, on that note, peace and blessings. Make sure you keep your mind ever growing, and yeah, slowly climb to the deep end of the pool. See you there.